Hi, we're live. I'm making taters. We're making the taters for the breakfast. Because it's breakfast time. Something like that. I'm getting fatter. Sorry, I'm working on not being so fat, but life's rough right now. So I'll give it a minute before I start blabbering, I suppose. Taters. Mm-hmm. Fried taters is what we're doing. These are some huge taters, too. Unfortunately, they got a lot of bad spots, so you end up having to shave a lot of it off. Like a vagina. I'm kidding. That's not how vaginas work. Not how it works. What you up to?
Me?
Yeah, nothing.
Just sitting here.
Okay.
I'll come and join you in a few minutes.
Whatever works. I'm peeling taters.
Cool.
Peeling the taters. Definitely gotta peel those taters. Who wants to know what's going on in the world today? There's like nobody in America that really knows what the fuck is going on. It's so sickening. Like, and it's not like there's not people that don't want, it's not like there's no one that wants to know. A lot of people want to know what's going on. Unfortunately, there's way more people that would rather just make shit up. Like, Iran's bad. They're the bad guy. Iran wants nuclear weapons. Ooh, they're so bad. Wait a second. If people who want nuclear weapons are bad, doesn't that make Russia, America, and Israel and China the most biggest, baddest people on the planet? If the metric we're going is building nuclear weapons is bad, because it can't be bad for you and good for us. Something's either all bad or all good. Right. So by America's logic, we're bad because we're building nuclear weapons. Or, yeah, or we're lying because America's just a chicken shit coward and is trying to fucking harm people in the world that they're afraid of before they can stand up for themselves. So that's called colonialism there, folks. Imperialism, colonialism, you pick a word for it. So I guess I should do the main story first. The last time we talked, wasn't Iran doing something or another? Yeah. Anyways, I learned a lot since the last time we talked about Iran. First, I gotta rinse this off. There we go, making taters any way they know how. The frying pan don't get them. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that tater song, so let's just pretend it never happened. And I'm going to try that avocado oil today. I'm cooking with SJW juice, avocado oil. It's freshly squeezed from your local SJWs. Okay, so I'm chopping these taters. So what did I talk about the last time about Iran? And I said I was going to say more. Okay, so here's something I learned. And if this is a repeat, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just beat me in public, why don't you? Hey, and you know how I'm talking about pirate rules and stuff like that? Here's something else I've learned. Apparently, Iran's so oppressive that if they catch you smoking weed, they charge you, they fine you. They fine you $1.25 per gram that you have on you. So, like, It's like in Iran, if you get caught smoking a J in public, they charge you less money than what a homeless person would get charged for sleeping on a park bench or something. It's like way less than that. So, and Iran apparently has a lot of hash, and apparently how it works in Iran is if you're not a douchebag and you're not doing fucking bullshit in public, the government leaves you alone. So like what I'm learning is there's a cultural difference where the Western Empire wants to shove their fucking lifestyles down your fucking throat and demand that you respect their fucking whatever the fuck sick lifestyle it happens to be. Whereas in the rest of the world, they're like, no, there's this thing called public and this thing called private, and we don't care what you do in private as long as you're not raping little children like Epstein does. So like if you're at home or whatever in private, it's apparently just chill to do whatever the fuck you want, and if you behave yourself in public, the government doesn't fuck with you there apparently, which makes sense because they got better things to do with their money than fucking policing every public fucking action. You know what I'm saying? Oh gosh. Anyways, I learned that about Iran apparently. I learned things, people. You know how I learn things? Because I listen to people when they talk to us. It's that simple. You just gotta listen to some people, and they'll tell you what the deal is with their place. So I gotta talk about this rehashing of things about the nuclear type of stuff, and then we'll move on to what the CIA is doing in the world today. And if you're watching or something, just say hi. Pop in and say hi. It's called, you should also follow me on Twitter before my Twitter account gets deleted, because I'm really fucking with the CIA on there really hardcore. My Twitter is, I can just put my Twitter up here, can't I? My computer's running slow. That potato almost fell to the floor, man. Got to put the brakes on it. So, and this is just another way you can get a hold of me when I'm not on live streaming and stuff. And we're going to be living on the road soon and traveling and stuff. So, I'm at C19D10. That's.
Sorry, I'm making noise.
I don't care. Watch out, the camera's on, just so you know.
I get that. Hi, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just C19D10. That's a fucking easy handle to remember, actually. Yeah. Real easy. Oh, who is that guy? Oh, Foreign Minister, the FM. I like him. He's okay guy. Good sense of humor. You're laughing at me.
Just a little.
My gosh. Ooh, you're just making noise all over the place.
Yeah.
That's done with. So, I don't know what to say on all of that. I'm thinking of putting the solar panel back inside the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're using it. I just have it up there and I don't really need it so much. So, oh well. And also, it's bullshit neighbors. I don't want things laying out that they can potentially damage, because that's what Americans do. They go around hurting each other.
That guy yesterday was an asshole.
Yeah. We're going to dox him too. I'm actually going to call his boss and complain about him because he's going around the neighborhood threatening to murder people's pets. So I'm going to get his license plate and I'm going to call the base and I'm going to say, hey, this person who happens to be a U.S. fucking service member is threatening his neighbors with guns.
Here's what he was bitching about.
I'm cutting things, so be careful.
He was bitching about a 15-year-old blind dog that somehow got into his trash that was on the ground. And he was crapping all over his driveway.
All over it.
Well, there's lots of dogs here.
A lot.
And if you leave your shit where a blind dog can find it,
they're going to eat it.
It's kind of your fault.
Yeah.
And he's not even a big dog, just a little dog. His face is probably like what? A foot to a foot and a half off the ground.
Not even a foot and a half. Because he usually keeps his nose to the ground.
So the guy was an asshole.
Yeah, total asshole. And we live in a county that has no leash law, so there's really not a goddamn thing he can do about it, except for not being a trash bird and leaving your trash everywhere.
So I answered the door, and he like started bitching at me right away, and I kind of went off on him.
Then I went off on him.
And then you went off on him.
Then he ran away.
And then the funny thing is, a bunch of neighbors actually saw, and they sided with us.
I'm gonna get his license plate and his address, and I'm gonna put it on YouTube, and then I'm gonna call his boss too, because I'm that kind of an asshole. You threaten to kill my dogs, I'm gonna let the whole world know that you're a fucktard, that you're a violent scumbag.
It's a 15-year-old blind dog.
Yeah.
Really, dude? Really?
So he's gonna be put on notice there, all over public. Find out who he is on Twitter or something. And I'm thinking
he's not a real soldier.
He has that little fuck puppet of a wife that when we were walking our dog said, "Oh, your dog did this." Well, no, you left your trash out, people. They're trash birds.
Yeah.
They're fucking American
when you leave your
trash
garbage sitting around. And here's the thing. If there weren't all these dogs all over the place,
there'd be
fucking raccoons.
And there are
totally
raccoons.
Get into his trash.
Right.
There are raccoons in the area that doesn't have a bunch of dogs right there.
Our dog, the reason we don't have raccoons and trash strewn all over the place is because we got dogs that police the neighborhood and keep the raccoons out of it.
Actually, when we're gone,
the
other dogs are all fenced. I bet you raccoons will come by again.
Yep. There's going to be raccoons getting into their shit anyways. Because
which will actually be funny because that guy's shit. You think this is bad now? Raccoons get in there.
Yeah, dogs are very polite about your trashing your trash. Raccoons, they revel in fucking your shit up.
They have fun playing with your trash.
They're like, hey, what's this little thing you do? But like I said, this is social media, so go ahead and pop in and say hi. Invite your friends over. It's a place on YouTube where you can talk without...
Smash that like button.
Oh, God.
No, don't.
Don't. I don't care. Hey, Mocha, I'm chopping taters, so you got to let me chop the taters. Chopping the taters the only way I know how. One tater at a time. Because I don't have a tater chopping machine yet. Haven't made that. Oh, but about the Iran, I was supposed to be explaining Iran. Mocha, why do you gotta beat me with your towel? Jesus Christ, man.
She's so happy. It's so funny when I try to do this with my left hand. There's like no strength.
Oh.
Or rhythm.
Mocha. Hey, Mocha. I don't know, she's really wanting to be close to us lately. I'll get you washed today, hopefully, Mocha.
That's why I feel so bad about finding a home for her.
I know, but we can't have her with us, so we have to have a home for her. And, if we get a good home for her, we'll be able to come see her and stuff, so that's okay. Alrighty.
Well, I think we have to pretty much trust that hopefully this maybe home we have for her is going to work out.
I hope so.
It would be a pretty good situation, I think.
Did you check the mail yet?
Did not. Should I go up there?
Did you see a car yet?
No, but that doesn't
I
necessarily.
never hear the car because it's a mail car. So
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. It's because the dogs sometimes bark and sometimes don't.
right. But yeah, if you ever in the morning, you should help me pay attention for the cars because you can hear better.
Well, like yesterday, I went and got the mail.
Right. Thank you.
So
I ran. Okay. About the history of Iran.
I ran really far.
Yes. So you know how apparently, and I'm just reading this. The Iranian foreign minister just tweeted.
Around like that.
What? I'm not gonna hit you, gee.
I'm getting tea.
Okay.
I forgot I had tea.
I gotta rinse some taters. I'm trying to go without sodas, but I don't think it's gonna work out for me.
My balance is kind of fucky today.
It's been that way, but I'm sorry. Are you having a stroke? Don't have a stroke.
I might be having a stroke.
I'm hoping that your blood clot is all gone.
Yeah, me too.
Because remember,
we'll find out in like a month, right?
yeah. Well, hopefully less than a month, but I don't know.
Well, I don't think that the CT scan of my jaw is going to show my brain.
Well, no, of course.
So the brain one will have to be a different one.
Well, yeah, but that'll be like in Bremerton or something. Because you shouldn't have to go 150 fucking miles for an MRI.
Seattle.
Or Tacoma, they would probably want to.
Is that guy in Tacoma?
They have all that in Tacoma. No, but we have it
No,
in Bremerton,
the one that said he would do
that
the
was
CT.
Seattle. That was Harvard.
Yeah,
that
that's
wasn't
right.
even Harborview.
Yeah,
it
that was
Seattle
the
somewhere.
Swedish one.
Oh, the Swedish one. Okay, I couldn't even remember which one it was. But yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm like, Seattle is a tech mecca. They do all the medical experiments in Seattle. So there's a lot of hospitals because they do that as a part of their medical supplies. Hey, the sleep watcher's back. We missed you last time.
He was sleeping.
I guess.
Or watching somebody sleep.
He was watching somebody else. We missed you for the last couple of days, man. Long time no stalking.
That's cool.
Yeah. I gotta rinse these taters. But yeah. Anyway, so the Iran foreign minister was happy to point out on Twitter today that back in the Paris Accord, it was Bolton, the same Pompeo and Bolton team that scuttled the Paris Accord, which was the negotiations, another nuclear deal they were trying to negotiate with Iran. And they made sure it failed.
When was that?
2005, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So back in 2005, America was scuttling the nuclear deals. And now it's the same two people.
That was under GWB, right?
To whatever 2005 was.
Pretty sure.
But then they're fucking, so it's the same two people. The same, and remember, this was back when Pompeo was actually in the CIA. He was the director of the CIA at some point in his career of crime. And so
must be nice being a crime boss.
So the same two people that scuttled the nuclear deal with Iran in 2005 are the same two people that fucked it up this time around and told Trump to pull out of it. So these two people have been destroying world peace their entire fucking life.
Bet you they were sent by Cheney.
They were sent by the Jews. No,
Cheney and the Jews.
They've seriously been destroying world peace or any chance of, like, you know, humans being nice to each other and helping each other out and ending things like starvation and poverty and stuff. Because they don't realize if instead of like creating hate and strife and discontent among all the religious groups, like, and you had people working together and you educated everyone, they would stop breeding like fucking rabbits, and then you wouldn't have an overpopulation problem, and then you wouldn't need war anymore because there would be enough for everybody. But rich people don't want that. Rich people want there to be pain and suffering in the world so that they can control everything. If there's not any shortages, then rich people would have no power.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, and that Mother Teresa bitch used to say this.
Oh, yeah.
So there have to be poor, suffering people for everybody else to like be thankful that that's not them.
Right, and then she actually tortured sick people and withheld the medications that would have helped them either get better or not have pain.
Yep.
She sat there and made people suffer intentionally. And that's what America does.
Vile woman.
And what do you think America's doing with all the tweakers on the streets? They want people to suffer so they can watch them. I mean, we're putting children in cages and torturing them to death now in America. And you know something? Good, because now the world, Trump is showing, that's what I said before he got elected. I'm like, at least he'll show the world for what America really is. If it was Hillary, she would have been all diplomatic and everything would have been hush-hush behind the scenes, and all the bad crimes against humanity would have been secret. But no, Trump has it, and the entire world is coming apart right now. And I
not to mention global chaos or weather chaos.
Yeah. But Russia and China are the two superpowers trying to hold civilization together, and Trump is just going around ripping shit apart. He's shitting all over his allies,
burning food crops,
like Turkey.
Blowing shit
before Trump was in office, Turkey was a staunch ally of NATO. Now Turkey's doing its own thing. They're saying fuck, they're out. Turkey's
going rogue.
Yeah, no, seriously, they are. If you want a rogue state, Turkey is it. The only side Turkey is on is Turkey's side. That's it. They're stealing everybody's land from their neighbors.
I'm not totally sure, but I think Turkey maybe has always been like that.
No, but they used to be a NATO ally.
Sure.
And they would work with NATO to fuck with their neighbors. Now they're doing it on their own now they're fighting NATO and still stealing from their allies. So it's like whatever. I'm gonna start cooking. Is that okay?
Sure.
I'm making fried taters.
Cool. Right on.
It's warm out. Well, it's not warm. It's just muggy. This weather's crap. I should go look what the jet stream has going on.
It's not Scottish.
It's not.
It's not Scottish. It's crap. Is Mike Myers still alive? He is, right?
Who?
Mike Myers.
Pretty sure. Why wouldn't he be alive?
2016 took a lot of people. I don't know.
Oh, Ross Perot died yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
At the age of like 89. Which tells me he wasn't getting all the artificial organs like Cheney and stuff.
You know, okay. As much as I think he was kind of crazy.
He was kind of crazy.
He wasn't. And he was totally a rich guy.
But he was.
But he kind of made it himself more, I think. I don't know.
Oh, no, he was born into it. But
was he? Okay.
One of those rare rich peoples who grew up to not be a total fucking fucktard. He wasn't a fascist fucktard. He actually cared about being American. The problem is those kinds of rich peoples don't exist anymore. And the ones that do, they hide and they're not in politics because they would get raped to death. Their empires, their fortunes would be destroyed. Okay,
so you know how right at the end he's like, "Yeah, forget it, I'm not gonna run." And he's like, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm running." And then it's like that guy probably should have won because he didn't even really want to be president.
Yes. Oh god. So like, I ran. Okay, so I just told you about that modern stuff. So if you go back, if I said this last time, I'm sorry, but it needs I'm not sorry. Right now, the CIA is trying to whitewash history again. They're trying to brainwash America and the world into thinking that there was some mythical time in the past where NATO had sanctions on Iran and didn't allow them to have any nuclear power at all, which is it's actually the opposite of the actual truth. It's the opposite of real history. The CIA is pushing a mirror.
They're gaslighting America.
Yeah, they're gaslighting America. They're gaslighting Iran, really. But so back in the day, and I'm not sure if it happened before Carter or if it was all Carter, when the Shah was in. Was that before Carter? Who was before Carter?
Before Carter was
Eisenhower or some shit. Ford.
the guy that killed JF, or no,
It wasn't JFK.
Oh! no, wait, it wasn't.
Was
The
it?
guy that came after, no, that wasn't it.
And was it JFK?
No, that was way long ago. Now I was trying to think the guy that came after Nixon, but I
Yeah.
don't think that was that it.
The guy that probably came after Nixon because that was after
Yeah,
JFK.
but I can't remember his fucking name right now.
He wasn't in very long, was he? But anyways, back in those days, way back when. So this was over 40 years ago. Okay, because 40 years ago is when Iran overthrew the evil dictator. So it was before then. It was the time of the Iranian Shah, which was actually America's puppet. And if you don't know, putting the Shah in was a shadow war between the USA and England, because England was trying to make Iran a colony too, but America undercut them and put the Shah in and took over. And that's what made UK America's bitch and was no longer the top dog in the world, because America stomped all over the UK and made them their bitch and took over being the global imperial
and it's still
power.
like that to this day.
And Iran even says it. They're like, the UK is America's poodle. So that's all the UK is. Theresa May is just America's poodle.
Little lap dog.
Yeah.
Sizzling.
Huh?
Sizzling.
Yeah. Haters tend to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, puppers.
That's a good girl. Hi. Mm-hmm.
Remember, when you're making fried taters, you want relatively high heat. I call it medium high. But
I learned that the hard way. It took me a long time cooking potatoes
well, I
before
learned
I
it
realized
from
that you have to turn up the heat
you.
more.
I learned it from you.
And that's because at first I always cooked at lower heat because I didn't want to burn
probably
shit.
turned mushy, huh?
And it took forever.
And they would turn mushy, probably.
And then I cranked up the heat, and that fried them right up.
So when America putting the Shah in, and what you don't know is, I've been arguing with, I don't know if they're either some spoiled rich kid version from the Shah. He was one of the ruling families of the Shah, and I've been fucking with him on Twitter last night actually, or if it's a CIA box slave. But Twitter is full of fake Iranians saying how they want to overthrow Iranian government and put in the Shah, and they're trying to claim that putting a Shah into power makes it democracy. Anyway, Shah is the Persian word for a king. So what they're advocating is overthrowing their government, which is a hybrid government. It actually has a little bit of democracy. It has a high council that is more or less doesn't do anything. They're just a check on the powers that be. It's got a lot of checks and balances. The more I learn about the Iranian government, the more it resembles like the Shangri High Council, actually.
Well, it does sound like they at least make more of an effort to watch each other. And
Yeah, they do. Because
doing shit behind
unlike
the scenes.
Unlike
our politicians,
Western politicians, Western civilization, where they're like, everybody's a good person and you got to respect everybody's right to live and be who they are. Well, in Persia, their government is based on the philosophy that a lot of humans are fucktards. So they have checks and balances so that if some fucktard gets out of line, they can pull him out of power before they destroy their nation. Like, look at I'm a Dinner Jacket. He got pulled out of power.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, he was a good class clown for a while, but they got tired of his dinner jacket.
And you know what? Okay, so he was the class clown that, he's going to take pot shots at that American demon.
He would have worked great with Bush.
Yeah.
They would have gotten along splendid. I bet you they did too, because he was in office when Bush was in office.
Kind of like Kim and Trump.
Yeah, exactly. But a Shah is just a Persian king. So when you see this shit on Twitter about how they want to overthrow the Iranian government and put a Shah in, they're advocating overthrowing a hybrid democracy slash parliamentary slash ruling council type of system. It's really a hybrid government. It's really, really interesting, actually. And they want to overthrow that and put in a king, a brutal dictator, just like Saudi Arabia has. So that's and they're all the descendants. These people that want the Shah back in Iran, so they can go back to Iran. They're little bitch ass rich children of the original royal families that fled Iran when the Shah was removed from power. They're their children. That's who these rich people are. They're a bunch of rich people. And they want an evil dictator in Iran so they can go back and treat their citizens like crap, just like they are in Saudi Arabia, where they can chop people up into little pieces and have slaves and make sure that their subjects don't even have fresh drinking water and shit. Because if you don't know, the current Iranian government has this thing called a constitution, and their constitution says that Iranian citizens have a right to medical and an education. And the reason they want global trade to be normal is because they want to export their stuff. Iran is a high-tech nation. They produce a lot of technology and high-end goods. And they want to sell that to the world so they can fund their actual liberal government of providing health care and educations to their people. And we're sanctioning them, and that's preventing Iran from having health care and school. That's what we're keeping Iran from having with all of these nuclear sanctions.
That'll teach them.
Yeah. And the other thing is, to get back to the history, during the reign of the Shah, the reign of terror.
That'll teach them by not teaching them.
Right, yeah. You're teaching them by not teaching them. So, back during the reign of terror of the Iranian fucking rich families and the Shah, the royal times of royalty again, America, and this was under Carter, was selling Iran 95% enriched uranium, which is above bomb grade, because the bombs they made for Japan that we dropped in World War II were only at like 80% enrichment, and modern nuclear weapons are at 90%. So 95% enriched uranium is more than bomb grade. And go ahead, what do you want?
What? No.
Oh, okay. And America, under Carter, sold Iran the centrifuges they needed to be able to enrich uranium on their own. So this whole story from Pompeo and Bolton that America was always against Iran having like enriched uranium, it's actually a lie. It's a fucking flat out lie. It's the opposite of reality. And reality is when Iran had an evil dictator, America gave them all the nuclear stuff they wanted. In fact, Carter called it atoms for peace. So that's the truth about Iran. And here's some more truth. Before the JCPOA, Iran was only enriching uranium to 20% because they have one fucking reactor that's for scientific purposes. And they need 20% enrichment for that one reactor. Their electrical power reactors, nuclear power, their uranium, they only need like 5% for those. Are you okay?
I was just remembering that back in the 80s, there would be these things to say, no more nuclear war kind of stuff. And they do this sound thing. It was just recorded because, they didn't have video so much then. And they would like have you listen to basically a bucket full of BBs being poured into like something metal.
What?
So it made all this clangy noise like for a long time, and they're like, "That's how many nuclear bombs there are in the world."
And they always do stupid shit like that.
And it's like there's no way there's that many bombs.
Did you remember?
Why would we be blowing ourselves up like, you know, a million times over or whatever?
Well, the road between Israel, China, Russia, and America, and a couple of other nations like France or something like that in the UK.
Pakistan.
Do they have nuclear weapons? I'm not sure.
And I think
guess you're
India
right.
does too.
There's like maybe 10,000 nuclear warheads altogether. Maybe 10, it's somewhere between 10 and 20,000. It's enough to blow up the
enough
planet.
to blow up the planet, yeah.
What's funny is the planet has enough fissionable materials to blow itself up. So like,
Nice.
but it's all spread out. Uranium. Remember, there's more fissionables than just uranium. There's plutonium, there's uranium, and there's a couple others. I think they use uranium because it's probably the most plentiful. But naturally occurring uranium is only it's point. I think it's only has 0.7 of the isotope that they enrich it for.
So it's probably not going to just explode on
No,
its
it's
own.
radioactive, but all uranium is radioactive, but you need the heavy isotope of uranium, which is like 235 or some shit. But it only 0.7% of uranium is that isotope. So when they're mining it, that's why they have to enrich it to go from 0.7 to whatever they want it to be. But maybe I should cook it hotter, but it seems to work at this level.
Really
You want to grab us some plates, or
what number is it cooking
I'm on 6.
That's probably good.
I think so. I don't want to burn it.
Yeah.
I love the propane better, man, so much. So I can't wait until we're on the road and using our propane again. On the propane again. Just can't wait to cook on my propane again. We need to buy eggs. We forgot eggs.
Since that's a Willie Nelson song, it should be on the weed again.
I'm pretty sure they've done that.
Yeah, but you know, he should have sang it that way.
He probably did off the record. Willie's weed again. Just can't wait to smoke my weed again. I've got Georgia's weed on my mind.
So when he gets really high, he just starts singing different songs, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's all one.
It's all one thing. Wait, that was not a good shot. Got egg on my hand. I want to make hollandaise sauce. Haagen-Dazs, hollandaise, however you say it.
Hollandaise.
Wacka noodle sauce. Okay. I better turn these over.
It's yolk and butter sauce.
Yolk and butter,
With
yeah,
lemon
and
juice.
lemon.
It's a pretty heavy sauce.
I want to make some of that.
That's why I used to make a much lighter version.
Oh. You added the egg whites back?
No, I didn't use eggs.
It's not the same.
I know. It was a mock hollandaise.
A mock hollandaise.
It
Oh,
was
you
a
just used the
vegan.
roux,
It was
huh?
actually a vegan hollandaise.
All you could do is make a roux and add the lemon and butter.
That's kind of what I did. It worked pretty good.
Yeah, it would. Probably a lot less work too.
Yeah, and a lot better for you. 'Cause
The other
not all
cast
those
iron. What's funny
yolk.
is these are both cast irons, but the flat cast iron actually works better for cooking taters on.
Well, it probably is a more even heat.
Oh, but it's also shallow, so it lets the moisture out.
Oh, sure.
This stuff, the only reason I did this is because you can't handle the taters all the way cooked, so I use that, and it keeps enough moisture in to make them all soft. I think we might have had milk. You want to check for that one?
Alrighty, I'll get shoes on and check.
Sorry.
Eh.
We might not have, but we're checking. Then we might not get any mail at all, and that's a thing that happens too. But anyways, that's the things I've been learning about Iran. It's a really interesting nation. lady. Outside. It's all right, lady. Good girl. I gotta. Oh, no one else is showing up. I guess it's a bad time for people to be able to chat because it's like the afternoon on a weekday. I'm sorry. But if you come by, feel free to invite your friends into chat. You're not going to get blocked or anything like that because we don't do that here. Haters take a while to cook. I really overdid it on the fucking oil this time. I tell you, way too much cooking oil in there. And butter. It'll be fattening but yummy. Nothing. I'll check one more time later. I think you probably didn't get anything.
Slow mail day.
Get those.
Yep.
I might chop that one tomato up and just make it a salad for myself. Would that be bad?
Mm.
Do you want
That
tomatoes
works.
for anything?
No, there's still salsa, so I'm good.
I mean, outside of salsa.
No, I'm good. Go for it, dude.
I mean, later sometime.
Right.
It's just the time when I put too much oil in instead of not enough.
Are they super fried?
They will be. I turn the heat up since they say taste done. That way I can crisp them up really fast. And I turn it down so I can do the eggs.
Yeah, because if they're too crispy, then chewing is difficult.
Well, I can give you a plate now, but
Well, except that I don't want them undercooked.
they're not undercooked. They're soft. That's why I turned the heat up to crisp them. So, anyways, yeah, before the JCPOA, Iran had 20% enriched uranium, and that was it. They never wanted more. They reduced it from 20% after they signed the JCPOA in 2015. And they shut down their scientific reactor, too. And the whole world's like, oh,
Yeah,
Iran.
react scientifically.
But I don't know if I mentioned this when I first started this stream. Here's another thing I learned about international law. It's United Nations international law. It's a part of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, I do believe, that if you're a nuclear nation, you have a legal obligation. You are required to assist other nations in developing nuclear energy for electricity and for scientific endeavors. You are required to assist. Now, what America's doing is in the EU is they're doing the exact opposite. They're not only not assisting everybody, they're preventing everybody in the world from developing their own scientific capabilities.
Because oil.
So we're actually keeping people in a state of primitive technology just so we can oppress them and keep them owned as slaves. It's really sickening. So, outside of the JCPOA, what America is doing is actually against international law. What NATO's doing, it's against international law. They're breaking the law. NATO, America, England, and all of America's poodles, they're just international criminals. And the rest of the world is getting sick and tired of it. I mean, and that's why...
It's all part of the rodeo circus.
So if you want to know why places are chanting death to America, it's because they're being victimized by America. And they're standing up to their oppressors, and they're starting to stand up for themselves. That's what's happening in the world today, folks. We're also living in a dark ages because of America and Western civilization and trying to own and enslave everybody around the world. That's Murphy.
Yep.
We're literally enslaving the world, and the world's getting sick and tired of being enslaved. Uh-oh. I like my taters all crispy, but you don't, so. I'm gonna let
I'll do my best.
I try to get it good for both of us.
It's hard to chew since my teeth don't really line up very well.
I'm
And
sorry.
my jaw's all screwed up.
I think I let it go a little bit longer. Just to make sure it's all cooked. Hope you don't mind. No one showed up today.
Well, just a sleepwatcher, but you know.
Okay, he's somebody. No one's talking though.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're not sleeping, so maybe he moved on. I don't know.
So just to recap on the whole Iran thing, what they're doing is in response because their rights are being violated, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. And and that's the other thing. Last month there was no fucking Iranian protesters talking about freeing Iran and putting a Shah in power. They say let's free Iran by enslaving them with the king. That's basically all. And these are they're Iranians and they're wearing the yellow shirts. They don't want to be the yellow vests. They're the yellow shirts or something now. What's with this yellow stuff? That's the color of cowards. And like they're mostly they're CIA box slaves online, and the Iranians you see in doing these protests in public is fucking. They're the rich children of the original kings and oppressors of Iran.
Or they're just crisis actors.
So they're rich people. They're rich people trying to enslave their nation that they came from. That's what they are. They want the old royalty back in power. That they want Iran to be Saudi Arabia. And you know something? I don't think Iran's going to settle for being enslaved. Like it's like to the point to where if you go to war with Iran, Iran will fucking fight you to the very last person, and there will be nothing but fucking corpses by the time you're done there. That's your choice with war with Iran. They will fight you to the death of the nation. They will fucking war of attrition you is what they'll do. Because they know what it's like to be a slave of a rich person, and they're not going back there, people. Freed slaves never go back to slavery. They choose death before slavery. That's how they got to be free in the first place. So Iran is fighting for freedom, is basically how it is. They're fighting to be autonomous. All right, so this is now. Oh yeah, because it was a little crispy still. Or not crispy, not done, but now it should be all done. So, yeah. You want any more taters?
No, that's probably not. Perfect.
Trying to get the oil to drain off. Yeah, I should put it on the paper towel. That's the best way to serve taters, on a paper towel. try to get.
There you have it.
Taters. Big tatering. I didn't even check the salt level on it. I only put salt on once. I'll put salt in the eggs, I guess. Yeah, that other cast iron seems to be way better. There's plenty of oil left, so good. That means it didn't all go on the taters. Okay. Come on, boys. Here we go. All right, this is almost done. Get ready for your breakfast.
Sure.
You can get your sauces and stuff out. I don't know what else you want. We don't know here.
I got nothing.
Maybe literally, because I have nothing in life. The other kind even works better for the scrambled eggs too. This one would be good if we're like making some stir fry maybe. Or making a roux or a gravy.
Now I need a pot for that.
No, this would work great for making a gravy. If you want a lot, you know. Alrighty. There you go. Change the plates around.
Yep. Because on my plate to the salsa.
Okay.
Here's the this.
There's the that. All done. Time to send you fry off again. We got fresh taters. All right.
Do you want for the rest of the salad thing?
Not really. You can put it. You can have the rest,
No, I'll just put it back and have it later.
or you can have the rest.
I don't know.
Okay.
That would be too
I
much.
can make a taco later.
There you go.
The salsa's getting used up pretty good. It lasted like
Yeah.
3 days or so. I ate a lot of salsa. But salsa is fresh food. You got to eat it fast. No.
Now you'll take
Okay.
it. Okay.
Oh,
Bye.
yeah. Bye. Oh, in case you don't know, the world's going to hell. Like literally hell. It's in a literal hell. Other cool things going on in the world. So Jeffrey Epstein is in prison now. So I was in Vegas placing some bets. Now, here's what you got to ask yourself. This is a billionaire who's fucking being charged with child sex trafficking and child rape, basically, sex crimes of minor children. 14-year-old girls. He was raping, not just that he was raping, he was imprisoning and trafficking 14-year-old girls and selling their bodies to all the rich people like Trump and the Clintons and Bill Clinton. Yeah, Epstein was the one that would capture the 14-year-old girls and turn them into sex slaves for Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. And he's in prison right now. So you got to ask yourself, is he going to get pardoned or is he going to get assassinated in prison? That's the only questions on this one, because the rich and powerful people of America are not going to go down for being child molesters. They know they're child molesters and they are fully planning on getting away with it and being child molesters. So we're now in this world where we're waiting to see if he's going to get murdered in the showers or is he going to keep his mouth shut and get pardoned. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they caught incriminating evidence and that they're going to kill him anyways, even if he didn't talk, just to make sure like the story goes away. Because if he's dead, the media will stop talking about the evidence of all the pedophilia they found in his house. Apparently, he had thousands of pictures of naked 14-year-old girls. And if you go on my Twitter, I already posted it up on the chat there. I linked to Trump and Clinton's response about Epstein being in prison and charged with being a pedo sicko. And they both responded the same way. And Trump, you can tell, he talks all loud and authoritative when he's talking about Iran and sanctions and the women's soccer team. And when they asked him about Epstein, he's like, I don't know anything about that. And that's all he said.
Liar.
What that means, that change of tone, is how you know he's guilty. So Trump is guilty of raping 14-year-old girls that he bought from Jeffrey Epstein. Mm-hmm. Hmm. So has anybody got news? Oh, Washington, D.C. and parts of Virginia and Maryland are literally underwater. They had flash floodings. Mind you, we're in the month of July, and that's summer. It's the time when North America is supposed to be not getting much water and rain, because normally the jet streams carry all the moisture over to places like Africa, the African continent, Southeast Asia, like the big swaths of China, and parts of Russia, and they're supposed to be getting all the rain. But because of the weakened jet stream, we're getting torrential downpours in summertime when we're not supposed to. And they said they got over 3 inches of rain in one day in DC. So now the capital of our nation is being destroyed by the weather the same way the entire Midwest farmlands were destroyed by the rain. And your goddamn fucking man-child president dictator is totally mute on the fact that our nation is literally getting destroyed by the weather. And the USDA is lying about the crops. And it's like I said, if your government is lying to you on one occasion, it means they're lying to you probably about everything. This is peach salsa, by the way. It sucks taking this fucking Seroquel meds. I eat and then it makes me hungry. But yeah, our government's being destroyed by the weather. Our nation's being destroyed by the weather, and our government's talking about how great America's never been better. And that's just a flat out lie. Basically, what's happening, everything's falling apart. The roads are washing out. The crops are not getting planted. The crops that are getting planted, they're rotting in soggy, muddy fields. And everything's going to shit. But what's happening is the government, instead of doing anything about it to fix anything, they're just lying and saying that everything's great. Because Trump hired little ass kissers for all the heads of the governments, like the EPA and the USDA and all these agencies. And they're ass kissers, and he hired them, and their job is to tell Trump that everything is great so that he can go on and say everything is great. So while everything's in reality falling apart and the cops ain't doing their jobs, the fucking government's fucking crap, no one's doing anything, no one's fixing anything, rich people are just stealing all the money from the government and not building the roads, not helping the farmers, not fucking helping to feed our nation, not quality checking our military products, no checks and balances. It's just a bunch of ass kissers telling Trump how great everything is. And they're literally just making up out of thin air that everything's great with the jobs and the unemployment and the stock market. It's all fake. It's our nation is actually on the brink of fucking total fucking collapse. And that's what's going to happen to us. It's why we probably won't get invaded, because the rest of the world is just going to pull the plug on America, and our currency is going to go to shit, and no one's going to trade with us anymore. One, because we don't have any food, and people are getting sick and tired of buying our crappy ass military products. Like Trump just strong armed, I think it was Malaysia or somebody, into buying $2.2 billion of war supplies. And here's the thing with that. These are one-time contracts. One and done, as the saying goes. What America used to be sustained on was actual trade of high-end finished goods and food. We used to feed the planet until this year when our crops got washed out to the Gulf of Mexico. And before the floods ruined everything, China, because of the trade war, Trump had made it to where China responded by not buying American food anymore. Now, if you are familiar with this channel and you come here often, then you'll already know that China has a strategic grain reserve. They also have a strategic pork reserve. Now, their country's being ravished by drought and this army worm that's eating all their corn. And they also got a version of swine flu that's 100% lethal to pigs. So quarantine's the only way to stop that. And they think 10% of their pork industry is getting wiped out. And if they don't get a handle on the armyworm, 100% of their corn crops are going to get eaten this year, they say. And that armyworm's already escaped and spread to places like Vietnam and other nations that grow corn. So another thing the USDA was lying about is the crop yields of our wheat harvest. Now, our winter wheat was growing really good, and it's harvest season for winter wheat right now. And that's the thing about wheat, is you can plant it and overwinter it, and it gives you 2 crops of corn per season per year. So you get 2 corn or 2 wheat harvests per year if you're a wheat growing nation or region or whatever. Now, the problem we had is because it's been cold and damp and rainy all across the Midwest, the winter wheat started bolting before it could be harvested, which means the yields went down on it. And the USDA is lying about the wheat yields, and they're trying to say it's better than last year when it's lower than last year. So it's not that we're losing our entire wheat crops. It's their yields are going down because the places there it got too much rain is it's bolting. Which it's when it like goes to the seed and it goes flying away in the wind and stuff. Yeah, that. Doggies. So your government's lying to you about the food. So definitely buy 200 pounds of durable goods, food like beans, rice, flour, peanut butter, tuna, ramen noodles, regular pasta, cooking oil, sugar, stuff like that. And maybe look up how to store fresh fruits like apples and lemons, long-term storage. How they used to do that on the ships, I don't know. I think they pickled a lot of things.
Maybe.
I think they stored it in brine barrels. But I'm not sure what they stored in the brine barrels, so you want to look that up too. Because America's falling apart, people. It's not going well for us, and it's we're months away from very, very hard times. Like if you think it's hard now, while the government's lying to keep the prices artificially low in the grocery stores and stuff like that, and the gas pumps, well, gas is going to continue to get cheaper, actually. I predict. Unless Trump and the government does something to drastically change the dynamics of the oil market right now, because we're a domestic exporting nation. So if our exports are no longer getting exported because people stop trading with us, it means we're going to have a surplus of oil products here at home, which means if you're going by classic economical philosophy, that the prices of oil should continue to get cheaper. If you're not trading it, but you're pumping it, your only choice is to stop pumping it to reduce supply here at home. So if oil prices or gas prices go up, it's because we're getting screwed by the rich people and they're reducing production. And remember, they're not just screwing us by keeping the gas prices high at the pumps. That means they're laying people off and they're eliminating jobs. So there. It also means they're creating unnecessary shortages. So there's that to deal with. Gotta love America, eh? Anyways, any questions? I already said the things I needed to say about Iran for the time being. Any final comments? No? All right. Well, I'm done. I'm gonna go get naked and take a shower, because that's what you do before you take a shower. You have to take your clothes off. I know some millennials out there might not know that, but that's how you stay clean. You get naked. Then you let the hot soapy water cascade down your body. Think about that.